Hey, Tony from Advanced Side here. Today we're going to look at how we could use the Ortho Laser Master 3 to get ready to cut out some leather for sheath. So usually I make pattern for my leather sheath. Then I draw from the pattern to the leather, and then I cut out the leather from the drawings that I made. And there's a lot of room for um, inaccuracy, and I really like the ability to see if we can get this working so I can cut out the pattern. It'll be accurate. It'll be the same every time. And in fact, the pattern for my Bowie has upwards of 10 different parts. So if I can cut those all out and put them together, the quality just increases tremendously. And I think the time will will decrease a ton too. So let's take a look at, and again, this is part one. I'll get into some deeper dive into this in the parts two and three. So definitely subscribe and like what you see if you do, and we'll come back to see what's going on. So here we go. We're going to use the software again. On my previous video I talked about doing away with the free version of the software and going quickly to Lightburn for a couple bucks. It's not worth it. So first thing I'm going to do is calibrate my camera. I have an overhead camera that I'm using for my setup, and you can see that it's overhead. This is the machine. So I'm going to pick that camera and hit next. And it's going to give you this chart here. So you got to figure out the speed and the power so that you can get a good marking on what you're doing. I'm just doing this on some um, envelope stock there. So it's I picked 0.13 as the um, thickness. But here I am. I'm going to frame it, make sure that it's still within the confines of the paper. It's a little off. I'll adjust it once it's done. Probably noticed that tie wrap is giving me a little bit of a trouble too, so I'm taking care of that. It's in between takes here, so this is this is going to make sure that things are in the right spot. So here we go. Start. The framing went well. I'm going to actually go ahead and start, and it draws these four kind of targets and a number 1, 2, 3, and 4 with it. So it's drawing this, and definitely suggest that you wear your goggles when you're watching what's going on. But I did have to play around with this quite a bit to get a good color and um, etch time with that. So fast forward, it did all four of those. The next step is to hit next. After you've done that, um, you capture the image. So the camera is going to capture the image. You could see those are the 1, 2, 3, and 4. Um, then you hit next, and now you're going to calibrate. This is where the calibration goes. So you're going to click on number one, the bullseye of the number one. Then you're going to do 2 and 3 and 4. So I'm enlarging this a little bit. Um, it's a little picky. You got to click a couple times to try to get it into the middle there. But it clicks. You go from 1, you go to 2, then you go to 3, and then 4, and and really that's all it takes to calibrate it. Does a good job. So you're done. So the camera is calibrated now, and so the next step is to bring my camera in. So I didn't have the camera controls in the the console here. So if I look at it now, that's the pattern that I actually want to make, and that's the pattern that I want to burn out. So if you click on overlay image, you're going to see that in your Lightburn working set. So now what I can do is trace that. So I want to trace that pattern that I eventually want to cut out. And the key here is you can start playing around. So you got to get a nice purple line around it all, but you can mask all that other crap that's in the picture and only concentrate on the item that you want to actually do. So if I do that and now play around with the threshold a little bit, and the threshold is finding the difference between the tan color and the white color, the pixels that go along with that. So so we're close. There's still a couple gaps in there, so I'm going to increase the threshold just a teeny bit more, and I've got it. Again, this is we're going pretty quick just to show the concept of how we're going to do that. Then we'll go into um, some more detailed editing of the image itself. And not quite sure, but why it ended up with a double. Um, so if I unshow the picture itself, you could see this is the tracing that I did. So it showed two of them. I'm going to just try to get rid of one of those and playing around with selecting up. I didn't select one of them. I selected the whole thing. So enlarging it here and actually I'm wondering whether or not there's a gap or the lines overlap and stuff, but they don't. They're actually two completely different patterns. So I'm going to enlarge it a teeny bit. I'm going to pick the picking tool, pick one of those, try to select one, and I did. Now I selected because you see the bottom line is dotted lines, and here we go. So now I have my pattern, and it actually looks pretty good. If I do some detail enlarging of it, there's definitely going to be some junk in there, but you could see if I put the the picture back on, it did a pretty good job. So I'm going to unshow the picture. I'm going to take the thing out of the way. We're just going to try to cut it on the paper. See my intricate weight to keep my camera from tipping over. But here I'm going to set my power and speed. And I did screw up. You can see it's in fill mode. It should be in line mode, but I'll recognize that in a little bit and fix that. But I'm going to go to speed of 500, and that should be fine. Um, so I'm going to go to laser tool now. I'm going to frame it, make sure that it's where I'm expecting it to be in the. Well, I got to select. Here's what I want to frame. Now I can frame it, and just see that it's on the paper appropriately where I'm expecting it to be, and that actually looks pretty good. So let's go in. Let's click on Start. Let's start burning, and this is where I recognize that. Oops, yes, it's not doing line. It's trying to fill it in. So I'm going to stop it. Go back to the layers and go from fill to line using the same 574 power for the settings. Going to hit start. Again, wear your glasses if you're going to do this. And now it's certainly doing the outline. I did speed this up a little bit to save us from watching that in slow speed, but did a great job. Again, with paper, pretty easy to cut through, but you'll see that matches the pattern um, that we took to trace on pretty well. So it's a little bit off, and we're going to play a little bit around fixing some of the irregularities of the pattern. Actually, my pattern is worse than the trace itself. Um, but um, step back for video 2, and we'll do some more. Thank you.